My beloved child, stop for a moment and feel the weight of what I am about to say. You left even me speechless, my child. Do you understand what that means? I, who see the beginning from the end, who formed the mountains and commanded the seas, who knows every thought before it is spoken, I looked at you in this last season, and I was moved in a way you cannot imagine. Not because you were perfect, not because you never struggled, but because of what was discovered about you when Greshu tried to crush you. Do not scroll. Do not delay. This truth cannot wait. If you rush past this moment, you may miss the revelation that heaven has prepared for you. This is not entertainment. This is not coincidence. This is not just another message. This is a divine interruption in your life. I stopped you here on purpose. I guided your steps here deliberately. I allowed your eyes to fall on this moment intentionally. Something extraordinary has been discovered about you in the spiritual realm. While you were busy surviving, while you were trying to make it through another day, heaven was observing your heart. Angels bore witness to your endurance. The enemy watched closely, hoping you would collapse. But what was found inside you shocked even those who doubted you. 99% will never hear this truth, but you were chosen to receive it. Not because you are better than others, not because you have done everything right, but because your heart has proven capable of carrying revelation without pride and without fear. Many desire truth, but few can handle it. Many want to be chosen, but few are willing to endure the process that selection requires. You endured. You are not ordinary. You are not random. You are not an accident placed on this earth without design. From the moment I formed you, I placed something within you that could not be easily destroyed. There is a depth in you that you yourself have not fully understood. There is resilience in you that surprised even you. When life pressed hard against you, something inside you refused to break completely. That refusal was not stubbornness. It was strength I planted there long ago. This moment was scheduled before you were born. Before your first breath. Before your first mistake. Before your first disappointment. I knew there would come a day when I would reveal this truth to you. I knew there would be a season when you would question your worth, question your calling, question whether you were significant at all. And I also knew there would be a moment when I would lift the veil and show you what has been hidden about you. If you ignore this, you may delay what heaven is revealing about your identity. I am not threatening you. I am inviting you. I am calling you to lean in. Do not brush this aside as emotion. Do not dismiss it as coincidence. You asked me for clarity. You asked me to show you who you truly are. Now I am answering. Within the next few moments, I will expose what was found about you and why it changes everything. But first, you must quiet the voice that says this cannot be about me. Yes, it is about you. You who almost gave up but did not. You who cried in secret but still showed kindness in public. You who felt unseen but chose integrity anyway. You who felt weak but kept moving forward. You left even me speechless because when everything around you shook, your core did not collapse. When betrayal knocked at your door, you did not become what hurt you. When delay tested your patience, you did not curse my name. When loneliness whispered lies, you did not surrender completely to despair. There were moments when you were close to breaking. There were nights when your faith felt thin. But something in you kept reaching back toward me. While you thought you were barely surviving, heaven was recording your perseverance. While you thought you were unnoticed, I was studying your heart carefully, and what I found was rare, not flawless, not perfect, but rare. I found loyalty when convenience disappeared. I found faith that flickered but refused to die. I found humility where pride could have easily grown. I found compassion in you even after you were wounded. That combination is not common. That is why most will never hear this truth. Many stop at the point of pain. Many turn bitter when tested. Many walk away when silence stretches too long. But you did not fully walk away. You thought your small acts did not matter. You thought your quiet obedience went unseen. You believed your restraint when you wanted to retaliate was weakness. But it was strength. It was character. It was evidence of something deeper forming within you. Say, I stand boldly in faith if you're claiming every promise He has spoken over your life. You are not ordinary. There is spiritual weight in you. There is capacity in you that you have underestimated. The enemy sensed it long before you did. That is why attacks felt targeted. That is why pressure felt intense. That is why discouragement tried to settle over you like a heavy cloud. He wanted you to forget who you are before you ever discovered it. But what I placed in you cannot be erased by hardship. What I wrote into your spirit cannot be deleted by disappointment. What was found about you in this last season is this: you carry endurance that can sustain greater responsibility. You carry humility that can handle blessing. You carry depth that can steward revelation. And now the truth needs to be revealed immediately because the next season requires you to know who you are. You cannot step forward while believing you are small. You cannot carry what I am about to place in your hands while thinking you are insignificant. Do not delay. Do not scroll away from your calling. Do not shrink back from your identity. This truth is not meant to inflate your ego. It is meant to anchor your confidence in me. You left even me speechless, my child, not because you impressed me with performance, but because you surprised yourself with perseverance. You survived what was meant to silence you. You endured what was meant to expose weakness. And instead of crumbling completely, you grew roots deeper than before. Now listen closely, because what I will reveal next will change the way you see your past, your present, and your future. The truth about you cannot be hidden any longer. And once you know it, you will never see yourself the same way again. My beloved child, now I will uncover what was discovered about you in the unseen realm, because you have lived through this season without realizing what was being examined. While you were navigating your days, trying to hold yourself together, heaven was carefully observing your heart. Not your image, not your outward success, not your public strength, your heart, the deepest part of you, the part you thought no one truly saw. I examined your heart when silence surrounded you. I examined it when prayer seemed unanswered. I examined it when you were disappointed by people you trusted. I looked beyond your surface reactions and into your private responses. And when it was discovered there moved heaven. You believed you were barely surviving. You believed you were fragile. You thought your tears were evidence of weakness. But when heaven examined you closely, something else was found. Hidden strength was living inside you. Not loud strength, not proud strength, but quiet, unbreakable strength. When pressure increased, your core did not collapse. It bent, yes. It trembled at times, but it did not completely shatter. Even when you doubted, you still whispered my name. Even when you felt abandoned, you still searched for me. that persistence revealed something rare within you. Loyalty under pressure surprised the enemy. He expected you to walk away completely. He expected your disappointment to turn into bitterness. He expected your confusion to turn into rebellion. But instead, you wrestled with your pain while still holding on to me. That surprised him. He studied your breaking points and assumed you would fall beyond recovery. But you did not. You do not understand how closely your reactions were being observed. Each time you chose restraint instead of retaliation, it mattered. Each time you chose patience over anger, it mattered. Each time you chose integrity when compromise would have been easier, it mattered. These were not small moments. They were evidence of your spiritual depth. Your faith was uncovered during trials. Before this season, you believed your faith was shallow because it felt emotional. But faith is not measured by emotion. It is measured by endurance. When joy faded and comfort disappeared, your faith remained, even if it was trembling. A trembling faith was still faith. You continued praying when answers did not come quickly. You continued trusting when evidence was limited. You continued hoping when hope felt risky. That revealed the true depth of what was inside you. Not performance. Not religion. Real faith. There were nights you felt weak because you cried. But heaven did not see weakness. Heaven saw surrender. There were days you felt exhausted because you kept trying. Heaven did not see failure. Heaven saw perseverance. There were moments when you questioned me, but even in questioning, you did not curse me. You did not sever the connection. You struggled, but you stayed. My beloved child, your endurance moved heaven. That is not exaggeration. When you remained faithful under pressure, there was recognition in the unseen realm. When you resisted the urge to give up entirely, there was honor placed over your spirit. You did not see applause. You did not feel celebration. But there was acknowledgement. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness into your life and strengthen your devotion to God. If you would like to support us, you can donate through Super Thanks. You did not see your own spiritual growth. You were too focused on what you lacked. You compared yourself to others who seemed stronger, louder, more confident. You thought you were behind. You thought you were weak because you fell deeply. But what you could not see was how much you were growing beneath the surface. Growth is often invisible at first. Roots form in darkness before fruit appears in light. In your darkest season, your roots went deeper. You learned to depend on me instead of applause. You learned to seek my voice instead of public validation. You learned to sit in discomfort without running immediately. That is spiritual maturity. And it was forming in you quietly. You thought you were weak because you felt pain intensely. But the truth is this: sensitivity is not weakness. It is depth. The fact that you felt disappointment deeply means your heart is alive. The fact that you wrestle with doubt instead of ignoring it means your faith is honest. The fact that you cried instead of pretending means you were processing transformation. Heaven examined your heart and found resilience where you saw fragility. It found loyalty where you saw exhaustion. It found humility where pride could have grown. It found compassion even after you were hurt. You are spiritually rare. Let that truth settle in you. You thought you were weak, but you were spiritually rare. Rare because you endured without becoming hard. Rare because you suffered without becoming cruel. Rare because you were tested without completely losing your faith. Many people can praise me when life is comfortable. Many can speak boldly when blessings are visible. But when comfort fades, when silence stretches, when disappointment cuts deeply, many withdraw. You did not withdraw fully. Even when you stepped back in confusion, you did not abandon me. The enemy saw your tears and mistook them for defeat. But heaven saw your tears and recognized strength. The enemy thought pressure would break you permanently. But pressure revealed your capacity. You did not see how you grew in discernment. You began to notice subtle things you once ignored. You began to recognize when something was not aligned with truth. You began to trust my quiet nudges more than loud voices around you. That growth happened in hidden places. You did not see how your humility expanded. You once felt the need to defend yourself loudly. But in this season, you learned silence. You learned to trust me with your reputation. That is strength. You did not see how your compassion deepened. After you experienced hurt, you became more understanding of others who struggle. Instead of becoming harsh, you became tender. That is spiritual maturity. My beloved child, heaven examined your heart and found something uncommon. Not perfection, not flawless behavior, but a spirit that refused to disconnect completely. A heart that kept returning, a soul that kept seeking. You thought you were weak. You are spiritually rare. This discovery changes everything. Because what is rare is valuable. What is rare is entrusted with greater responsibility. What is rare is protected carefully. You survived what could have hardened you. You endured what could have silenced you. You wrestled with doubt and still reached for me. That is why I say again, you left even me speechless, not because I did not know your potential, but because watching it unfold under pressure was beautiful. You are stronger than you think. You are deeper than you realize. You are more prepared than you understand. And now that this truth has been revealed, you must begin to see yourself differently. Stop labeling yourself as fragile. Stop calling yourself weak. Stop assuming you are behind. You are spiritually rare. You endured. You remained. You grew in ways you could not see. And heaven has taken notice. My beloved child, now I will explain why this truth about you was hidden until now, because you have wondered why I did not speak sooner, why I allowed you to walk in uncertainty, why I kept certain revelations sealed while you were searching for answers. You thought I was silent because I was distant. You thought I withheld truth because you were unworthy. But the reality is deeper and filled with care. Timing matters in revelation. There are truths that heal, and there are truths that overwhelm. There are revelations that strengthen, and there are revelations that inflate. If I had revealed this about you too early, before the refining, before the stretching, before the quiet battles, it would not have strengthened you the way it will now. It might have fed pride. It might have stirred fear. It might have distracted you from the process you needed to walk through. If I had told you in the beginning how rare you are, how deep your spirit is, how much responsibility rests on your life, you might have misunderstood it. You might have tried to perform instead of surrender. You might have chased recognition instead of growth. You might have begun striving to protect an identity you had not yet matured enough to carry. Pride is subtle, my child. It does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it grows quietly when praise comes too early. If I had revealed this truth before your humility deepened, You could have believed you were above others. You could have measured yourself by comparison instead of compassion, and that would have wounded your spirit more than silence ever did. But fear can also interfere. If I had revealed this truth before your courage strengthened, you might have shrunk back. You might have said, "That cannot be me." You might have felt the weight of responsibility and retreated into insecurity. You might have doubted your ability to carry what I have placed within you. That is why I prepared your heart first. Preparation always comes before revelation. I had to build stability within you. I had to allow you to experience both weakness and dependence. I had to let you feel small enough to understand that your strength comes from me, not from yourself. The test was necessary before exposure. Exposure without foundation can destroy. If a structure is revealed before it is stable, it collapses under pressure. I was strengthening your inner foundation quietly while you felt unseen. I was shaping your humility, stretching your patience, deepening your discernment. All of that was building capacity. You thought the test was only about endurance, but it was also about readiness. Readiness to carry truth without distortion. Readiness to receive affirmation without arrogance. Readiness to accept calling without panic. Silence was protection. I need you to hear that clearly. Silence was protection. When I did not immediately affirm you publicly, I was protecting you from external pressure you were not ready to face. When I did not reveal everything at once, I was shielding you from attention that could have distracted you. When I kept certain things hidden, I was guarding your growth. There were moments you felt forgotten, but you were being formed. There were times you felt overlooked, but you were being developed in hidden places. Growth that happens in silence is stronger than growth that happens under applause. I waited because you were not ready to carry this truth before. Not because you lacked value, but because you lacked preparation. Carrying revelation requires maturity. Carrying identity requires stability. Carrying calling requires humility. You see, revelation changes how you move. Once you know who you are, your decisions shift. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for compromise decreases. Your understanding of responsibility increases. If that shift had happened too early, before your character caught up, it could have overwhelmed you. You had to experience limitation before understanding capacity. You had to experience delay before appreciating timing. You had to experience weakness before understanding strength. That sequence was intentional. Comment: Jesus is more than enough for me if he fills every empty space in your soul. There were things I needed to remove before revealing who you truly are. I needed to remove dependence on validation. I needed to remove the habit of seeking approval before obedience. I needed to remove certain attachments that would have pulled you backward once you stepped forward. If I had told you this truth earlier, you might have tried to prove it instead of live it. You might have tried to convince others instead of simply walking in it. You might have turned identity into performance. And that is not my design. Identity in me is not loud. It is steady. It does not need constant defense. It does not demand constant affirmation. Your heart needed to be quiet enough to receive this truth without distortion. Your spirit needed to be soft enough to hold it without pride. Your mind needed to be strong enough to believe it without fear. So I waited. I waited while you cried. I waited while you doubted. I waited while you wrestled. Not because I was indifferent, but because I was attentive. I was watching for the moment when your humility and strength balanced each other, when your dependence on me outweighed your desire for recognition, when your faith became steady enough to carry responsibility. That moment is now. You are not the same person you were at the beginning of this season. You are more grounded. You are less reactive. You are more discerning. You are more aware of your need for me. That maturity is what allows this truth to be revealed safely. Silence protected you from premature exposure. Delay protected you from immature elevation. Hidden seasons protected you from unstable foundations. My beloved child, understand that revelation is not withheld to harm you. It is time to strengthen you. There is beauty in divine timing. There is wisdom in gradual unveiling. If I had shown you everything at once, you would not have been able to appreciate the journey. If I had declared your identity before you experienced testing, you might have doubted it when hardship came. But now, after enduring, after wrestling, after growing quietly, you can see the truth and recognize it as real. I waited because you were not ready to carry this truth before. But now you are ready. Now your humility anchors you. And now your endurance supports you. Now your discernment guards you. Now your faith steadies you. This truth will not inflate you. It will anchor you. It will not overwhelm you. It will align you. Silence was not absence. It was preparation. Delay was not rejection. It was protection. Waiting was not punishment. It was positioning. And now the veil lifts because your heart can carry what is revealed. My beloved child, now you must understand something that was happening beneath the surface while you were walking through your silent season. The enemy tried to bury this truth about you. He sensed something before you did. He recognized the weight of what I placed inside you long before you ever understood it. And because he could not remove what I planted, he attempted to distort it. He could not erase your identity, so he tried to confuse you about it. Spiritual opposition rose quietly against you. It was not always dramatic. It was not always loud. Sometimes it appeared as subtle discouragement. Sometimes it came as heavy thoughts that felt like your own. Sometimes it arrived through the words of others. But behind those moments was an effort to distort how you see yourself. The enemy knew that if you ever truly discovered who you are in me, you would move differently. You would speak differently. You would stop shrinking. You would stop apologizing for your existence. You would stop settling for less than what aligns with my will, and that would threaten his influence over your mind. So he worked strategically. He planted lies about your worth. He whispered that you were not enough. He told you that your mistakes defined you. He replayed your failures in your mind until they felt permanent. He magnified your weaknesses and minimized your growth. He wanted you to look at yourself and see nothing special, nothing strong, nothing rare. There were moments you believed him. There were nights when his lies felt louder than my promises. You thought you were behind everyone else. You thought you lacked what others naturally possessed. You thought your struggles were proof that you were less capable, less chosen, less valuable. Comparison became one of his sharpest tools. He placed people before you who seemed ahead. He allowed you to see their success, their confidence, their visibility. And slowly, comparison began to eat at your confidence. You began measuring yourself by timelines that were not meant for you. You began judging your progress by standards that were never assigned to your life. Comparison distracted you from your own growth. It made you overlook how far you had come. It made you blind to your own endurance. It convinced you that because you were not moving like someone else, you were failing. But you were never called to be someone else. You were called to be who I designed you to be. The attacks were not random. They were targeted. Discouragement came when you were closest to breakthrough. Doubt intensified when you were growing deeper. Temptation increased when your discipline strengthened. These patterns were not coincidence. They were attempts to make you question your identity before you discovered it fully. There were times when thoughts entered your mind that felt foreign, yet convincing. You are not special. You will never overcome this. You are too damaged. You are too late. Those were not truths. They were seeds planted in hopes they would take root. But here is what the enemy underestimated. Your spirit refused to fully accept those lies. You wrestled with them, yes. You felt them. You struggled. But deep down, something inside you resisted completely agreeing with them. That resistance was evidence of the truth still alive within you. The enemy tried to bury your identity under layers of disappointment. He tried to make pain your defining story. He tried to make past mistakes your permanent label. He tried to convince you that your season of struggle was proof that you had been forgotten. But the truth survived. Every lie that was planted encountered resistance in your spirit. Every attack that came against your confidence did not fully succeed. You may have doubted yourself at times, but you did not completely abandon your faith. You may have questioned your calling, but you did not sever your connection to me. What I placed in you cannot be erased. Listen carefully to that statement. What I placed in you cannot be erased. Not by failure, not by rejection, not by delay, not by comparison, not by spiritual attack. Identity given by me is not fragile. It is not erased by circumstances. It is not rewritten by critics. It is not destroyed by hardship. It may be hidden for a time. It may be buried under discouragement. But it remains intact. The enemy could only attempt distortion. He could never achieve deletion. You experienced attacks designed to make you doubt who you are. But doubt does not remove truth. It only challenges you to rediscover it. And even in your weakest moments, you still felt something pulling you back toward hope. That pull was me. That pull was truth surviving beneath pressure. There were moments when you almost agreed with the lie that you were ordinary in a negative sense, that you carried nothing unique, nothing meaningful. But every time you began to settle into that thought, I stirred something in you. I reminded you quietly that there is more to you than what you see. The enemy wanted you to forget your resilience. He wanted you to focus on your exhaustion. He wanted you to interpret every delay as disqualification. But delay does not cancel design. Pressure does not cancel purpose. He tried to bury the truth under shame. Shame over past decisions. Shame over mistakes. Shame over weaknesses. Shame tries to silence identity. Shame tries to make you hide. Shame tries to make you feel unworthy of revelation. But I did not design you to live hidden by shame. I designed you to walk in freedom. And though shame knocked at your door, it did not permanently own you. The truth survived every attempt to crush it. Even when you felt confused about who you are, there was still something steady in you. Even when you felt small, there was still something strong. Even when you felt unseen, there was still something significant. That something is what I placed inside you. The enemy cannot create. He can only twist. He cannot destroy what I have authored. He can only attempt to distract you from it. And distraction is powerful, but it is not permanent. You are not the lies spoken over you. You are not the failure you fear. You are not the comparison that tries to shrink you. What I placed in you cannot be erased. It may have been tested. It may have been challenged. It may have been questioned. But it remains. The enemy tried to bury this truth because he knows the moment you fully accept it, you will rise with confidence rooted in me. You will stop negotiating with insecurity. You will stop partnering with doubt. You will stop diminishing yourself. And that shift changes everything. My beloved child, understand this clearly. Opposition is often proof of value. Intensity of the attack revealed the importance of what you carry. The pressure you felt was not random. It was connected to the potential inside you. But the truth survived. It remained under the surface, protected by my hand, waiting for the right time to be revealed. And now the time has come. You were never erased. You were never overwritten. You were never reduced to your worst moment. What I placed in you cannot be erased. It is still there. It is still alive. And it is stronger than every lie that tried to silence it. My beloved child, now I must speak plainly and firmly to your spirit, because what I am about to reveal is not light, not casual, not something that can be brushed aside. You were chosen differently, not above others in pride, not separated in arrogance, but marked with a weight that most will never carry. You are not part of the 99% who will never hear this truth. There are many who will continue walking without ever understanding what is hidden inside them. But you were selected to know. And with knowing comes responsibility. Do not mistake chosen for comfort. Do not mistake revelation for ease. When I say you were chosen differently, I am not promising a path without resistance. I am revealing a calling that requires maturity. That is why you were tested. That is why you were refined. That is why silence stretched you before truth was spoken. Many desire to be chosen, but few desire the discipline that selection requires. Many want influence without humility. Many want authority without surrender. Many want revelation without accountability. But you were shaped in hidden places because what you carry cannot be entrusted to someone unsteady. You are not part of the 99% because your heart responded differently under pressure. While others hardened, you softened. While others walked away, you wrestled but remained. While others chose bitterness, you struggled but still leaned toward forgiveness. That difference is not small. A difference is significant. There is spiritual authority hidden in you. You have not fully recognized it yet, but it has been forming quietly. Authority is not loud. It is not boastful. It is not demanding attention. Spiritual authority is calm under chaos. It carries peace in storms. It influences atmospheres without shouting. Type "You are my true guide." Lord, if His hand directs every step you take, and share this video.